So we have a couple of things lined up today. The main thing I'm gonna do today is so we have a patron who has requested how so he has a question, and his question is how do you convert the Vampire Survivors game into a mobile version. So I'm just gonna quickly cover that on the stream. That's the first thing I'm gonna cover. After that's done, I will spend some time to improve the Soul Eater effect, and I'm gonna do some admin work on GitHub to merge our two repositories together. So when I did the weapon system revamp, I created a separate branch for our project repository. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna merge the branch with the main one. So it's kind of like we are moving one step closer to releasing part 15, right? The weapon revamp system. So after we are done this week, so originally I didn't plan to have a stream this week. I planned to spend time to prepare for the release of part 15, but because there was a Patreon request, that's why I'm doing the stream. So without further ado, let's get started with the porting of the game over to mobile. So the porting is going to be pretty fast. At first I thought, it's going to take some work, but I have some codes that will help us to expedite the process. So let me just run through the what usually you look for when you want to port a game from one medium to another. So really, whenever you want to port a game, the main thing that you want to be looking out for is simply that you want to look for how the game is controlled, and then you want to port all of these controls over to, let's say if you're doing it on mobile, then you want to think about how do you port the game over to mobile, right? So Vampire Survivors is a pretty simple game. So there are a couple of buttons, and then you have just 4 directions to move, right? That's really all. So what you really need in the mobile version of the game is you just need a joystick, and then you just need to map the controls over to a joystick, if that makes sense. So one thing that we can do is, okay, so usually when we want to port games over to mobile, the first thing that I will look for is I will look to install this thing called the device simulator. So we actually, on our blog, there is an article about this. Let me just quickly show the article. Device. Show you yeah. There we go. So what the device simulator does is that it allows you to test out your game on the Unity editor itself. So there is a way for us to actually install a new package that will allow us to tap between the game view and the simulator view. Of course, when you're in the simulator view, you are simulating how the game will feel and how the game will look like on a mobile device. So there's this whole article on how to get the device simulator installed. If you're using Unity's version 2021 and above, you won't have to install this, but because I'm using 2020.3.40, I will have to do this installation. So I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna just head over to the package manager, and from here you can install this thing called device manager. I'm not sure if the package manager is shown. I'm gonna have to share my whole screen. So what I did was I went to window and I went to package manager right here, and from here what I want to do is I want to find preview packages. So I'm going to go to advanced project settings and enable preview packages. So again, this is not necessary if you're on Unity version 2021 and above. So if you're on the right version, when you go into Unity, right away you'll see this drop down here that toggles between the game view and the simulator view. Again, because I'm using older version of Unity, I will have to install the device simulator. So once I enable preview packages, right now if I were to go back here, and if I were to go to the registry, I should be able to find a device simulator right here. And what I want to do is just install this. And this actually brings me to a once I install it, this will actually change my game view. So this is just gonna be a moment. So once I've done that, you will see that there is a little drop down here, and I can change between the mobile view and the game view. So this is really useful. Again, if you're using Unity version 2021 and above, you won't have to do this. Yeah. So for getting the game on mobile itself, what we have to do is actually pretty simple. We just have to add a joystick, because Vampire Survivors is you can only move in 4 directions, right? So you really only need to have a joystick that allows you to move in these 4 directions. So for this occasion, I actually have a asset package that I was going to release. We've been working on it for a while now, but we haven't done the marketing materials and stuff, so I haven't released the asset package, but I'm gonna import the asset package that we are working on. This will give us a joystick. So I see on the chat, Logic has a question. Logic, if you have trouble with knockback enemy monsters and everything, right, can you make a post on the community forums and then try and include as many screenshots as possible? So record in your video, show me what the issue is, and then try and explain that as much as possible. So after the stream, right away I will have a look at your post and I will respond to it. Alright. So what I'm gonna do is let me just show you what I'm doing right now. I actually have another repository for, let me just clone the repository right here. So I have a repository that stores essentially a joystick. There we go. So I'm just gonna clone this repository from here. I will package this into a Unity asset store package very soon, seeing that I'm making a video about it, right? So let me just clone the repository first, and I'm gonna move just the contents of the repository into the Vampire Survivors tutorial series folder. So go back to here, and so back at the desktop, right? Let me just close this other support. I have this folder here. I'm just gonna remove the Git folder so that we don't import the revisions and everything into Unity as well. And let's go back to the project. I'm just gonna go to assets folder and just drop in Virtual Joystick. So just a quick lowdown on what this Virtual Joystick package does, right? What it has and all that stuff. So what this Virtual Joystick contains is, let me just go to the demo scene to show you. So what it has is just joystick, which, let me see, why isn't this working? Let me try the simulator. Let's try some of these other scenes. Where are my joysticks? I think they're missing now. There we go. So we have joysticks right here. So there are some demo games and stuff that are included together with the joystick. So basically how this works is, let's go to any scene that we have, and I'm not sure why this joystick isn't working. It's probably a configuration issue, but we should have a whole bunch of joysticks this scene right here. So if I was to go, so this package basically has a whole bunch of joysticks for you to choose from. Yes, and there's a bunch of prefabs and everything. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna use one of these joysticks, drop it into the project, and we can start coding for the mobile compatibility right there. So again, this is the folder. After the stream, I'll share this file, and then you can just grab this and you can drop it into your project, and you should be able to start using it. So I'm gonna go over to the game scene. I'm just gonna not save the changes right here, and all I'm gonna do is, you'll see we have a canvas right here, right? In this canvas, I'm just gonna drop a joystick inside. So the joystick in the package is designed to work with any project. So you can just drag and drop any one of these prefabs over here, and it should allow you to start using joystick right here. Yeah. So I'm just gonna have a basic joystick here, and I am going to anchor this joystick to the bottom of the scene. Alright, so this is where the joystick appears. Let me just try changing this to see. Just to see how it looks like on different devices. So we probably have to do some work with our UI also, because the UI is really small. Let's see how do I go about doing that. So we have our inventory slots. Okay, this is a little bit more work than I expected. Let's fix the virtual joystick first. So we probably want it to be of a certain size, right? So let's try having it be. Okay, I can't increase this directly. Let me just increase the size of the joystick using this, so that everything increases proportionately. So just want joystick to be of a reasonable size. The game view, how does it look like? Okay, it's too big in the game view, huh? It's too small on the mobile view. So let's see if we can strike balance. Anchor it to the bottom. Increase size. Well, now I've got a few ideas on how to improve upon this joystick pack. So let's see. Let's just place this here, and let's try this on. It's really small on the phone, which is a problem. On smaller phones, it's fine. So I probably have to add some kind of way for us to make this mobile compatible, so that it has different sizes in different environments. Or I can always, you know, just let me try this. Let me try breaking the anchor for this and see whether this works. Unfortunately, I don't think that this is gonna work the way I want it to, but it's worth a try. Okay, I'm sorry, Unity just crashed. You just reopen that. Okay, there we go. I thought this was gonna be simpler than this is a little more complex than I expected, so I might have to modify the Virtual Joystick pack at the end after all. Okay, let's redo everything. We have to drop the joystick right here, and we can anchor the joystick to a part of the screen. Let's anchor it to the bottom. And again, we have to test it against multiple devices to see how everything sizes up. So the problem is that we can increase the size of the joystick, but because the joystick is made of multiple components, right? If I want to increase the size of it, I will have to increase the size of let me see. Let's try splitting the anchor again. My thoughts are all over the place now. Just finding a way to implement this properly. And Unity keeps crashing whenever I try to split the anchor, so not sure if this is a bug with my code or if this is a bug with Unity itself. I'm tending to the latter because it's weird, right? I don't get why the program keeps crashing this way. Let's try this one more time. So again, the Virtual Joystick pack has been imported. This is a asset package that we are planning to release on the asset store very soon. So I'm just gonna drop this here. So what this does is, in this asset pack, we have a whole bunch of joystick prefabs, and you can use them in any way you want. Just drop them in your project and they're ready to use. Alright, so just as an example here, I'm just gonna drop this virtual joystick, anchor this to the bottom, and if I play the game, right away you can see that the joystick is usable. Okay, it's just not bound to any action, so we're just gonna bind it, and we should be able to start using it. And because Vampire Survivors is pretty simple, right? So you just have to move in all 4 directions. So that's why just a simple joystick adding it to the scene will handle everything for us. So I was trying to split the anchor, right? I was trying to increase the size here of the joystick, and I was trying to place this here. And what else was I trying? And of course, we are looking at this on multiple screens, right? Trying to test this against mobile devices as well. So what I was trying to do previously was splitting the anchor, but I'm not sure if that would go very well. Let's try this again. Smooth this here. Yeah, let me save the scene so that I lose my progress halfway again if the application decides to crash. So this right here, this is fine. But when I move the anchor over here like that, it breaks Unity. This is ridiculous. So it looks like my joystick is broken now. I'm just gonna have to import another one then. I didn't think this would be so hard. Oh, this would be a lot easier. Didn't think that I'd be struggling with the application itself. Just gonna make this part 4. Just gonna use numbers to position my... Oh, this crashes thing as well. Well, looks like this. Some work I have to do, huh? Oh gosh, what's going on here? Why is this breaking the control stick? Okay, maybe we can try using another prefab and then we can see if we get any luck with that. So there we can use arrow joystick. That may work. Okay, don't like this. Don't think it's very nice. Ball joystick. Bit dash. This is a different joystick here. Let's try this one. Yeah, let's see if this works. So again, we increase the size of the joystick. And let's anchor it to the bottom. Not sure if let's try and Google about it. Not sure why this happened. So Unity pressure splitting. So I guess one thing I can do is I can modify the joystick code, I guess, to change the size according to what the screen size is, but that's not the most efficient way to do things. I'm wondering if there is an error log in Unity that I can check. Let's go back to browser. Unity log files. Where are these log files? So what log files are is they are files that will report what happens when there is a crash. So I'm gonna look for this editor file, see what the issue is, and then probably, you know, I can fix that. Share my entire screen with you, yeah. So it's 20.3.40 and editor, and then there is a log somewhere, right? Where is the log file? Local app data. Local app data. Where is that? Local app data. App data. Unity. Where is this log file? Player related log location. Need editor log, right? So what I'm doing here is I am trying to figure out why whenever I use the joystick, it crashes when I try to adjust the size and the anchoring of the joystick. So let me just open the log file and see what's going on, and why it always crashes. Where to find the crash log? So this is more of a web dev thing, where if an application crashes, you want to look for why it crashed. So we have to find a dump. So whenever there is a crash, most programs that you have will record some data about the crash, trying to find where this data file is. So it's under app data, local low, Unity. But there is no crash dump. So why is it crashing? Backtrace. If you open the editor log file, you will find where so the editor log file is here, and what is the issue here? Okay. This is where I went, right? But there's no crash log. Severe, oh, maybe we don't have any log data when Unity crashes. You know what, I guess let's try this again then. Let's try to configure this damn thing again. Keeps crashing. You know, maybe I can try adjusting the anchors in the other scenes, and we can see whether this affects these anchors as well. So we try the split anchor, right? Crashes also. Okay. Does it crash if I just add a random object? If I add a random object here and I move this, it doesn't crash at all when I do this, which means the problem is with the crosshair itself or with the joystick itself. What if I remove this component? Can I start? I should be able to start splitting the anchor, right? So the problem is with the joystick. So yeah, a little stump for words here. So the problem is with the joystick, which means I have to take a look at the code. And I guess in the meantime, I can also run the code through with you guys. Let's go back to our game scene. Let's save changes. So I've got to find the line that causes this crash whenever I try to split the anchor of the object. Let's drag this guy out first onto the canvas, and I'm gonna anchor him here. So let me just pull up the virtual joystick code, and it should be the editor that's causing the problem, I think. And if we were to say, you know what, if we were to just comment everything out, we can start pinpointing where the problem is. So, you know, the most questions I get regarding coding is always about debugging. So, I mean, they're not questions. People just come to me and, oh, this doesn't work. Why doesn't this work? And, well, sometimes I can't find a reason as well, but you have to be very systematic about how you... So with programming, it's about how you can break everything down into the smallest pieces of logic. Whenever something goes wrong, it's always a fault in your code, and you have to find which part of your code it has the fault. So this is what is the most annoying about programming, about coding stuff. But it's also once you get a hang of it, this becomes easier over time. So it takes about a couple of years, took me about a couple of years before I became comfortable with debugging. So right now what I'm trying to do is, am I sharing my screen, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to comment out the entire piece of code, and then after that I'm just gonna go back to Unity and try scaling the anchor again. This will help me pinpoint what the issue is. So right now you see, once I disable the code, I'm able to set the anchor of the object. So something in the code is causing this thing to crash when I split the anchor. So I've got to find what the issue is. So I'm just gonna undo the splitting of the anchor, and I'm gonna go back to the code, and just one by one, I'm just gonna slowly uncomment parts of the code until I find out what's the part of the code that's causing this. So fortunately or unfortunately, you have to be really systematic with debugging. So right now I'm just going to uncomment this, and perhaps I'll uncomment two parts on enable as well. I'm going to uncomment these two parts here, and you're going to see whether this causes the crash to happen. So as we start uncommenting our code, we will get to the piece of code that's causing this crash. So right now, if I split the anchor, this is still fine. So far so good. Okay, let's uncomment out more code then. Let's go back here and let's uncomment out the next function, which is the draw default inspector. Sorry, the on inspector GUI function. I think this is the entire function, right? all the way up to here, I think. Sorry, GCD. Yeah, what's this? So let's just slowly unpack this function right here. So if I would uncomment out just this part here, reformatting the indentation as well. So let me uncomment this part first and see whether this fixes the problem. If I were to split the anchor here, it's still no problem. But this is still great. Which means let's move on to uncomment out more parts then. So let's uncomment out this whole chunk here. This one deals with the increasing and decreasing size of the joystick. So we have buttons on the joystick that allows us to increase and decrease the size of the joystick, right? So let's uncomment this, and then we'll have to uncomment these functions as well, which are here, GCD, and record size change. So let's go back to our Unity and see whether this. Okay, this is still fine. So far, so good. Find GC does not exist in the current context. Okay, we can't rely on this because our code has an error, so it wasn't recompiled. So it means we have to undo this part as well. And so my guess is probably there is a infinite loop somewhere, I guess. The result equals to 1. It else here. Just optimizing code along the way. So let's see if now let's see if this breaks. Nope, still doesn't break. Everything still works fine. So if I split the anchor here and here, everything still works. Alright, let's move on to the next part then. So far we haven't gotten into any of the code that breaks our software. So which means we will uncomment more code. I don't think this code breaks this still. I think it's probably the anchors over here that breaks the code. Let's see what does it do. It's the sliders over here. These are the boundaries. Let's go back to Unity and see if this boundary stuff is the one that. So pull this out, pull this out. I think this is still fine. Still working great. Which means the code is probably here, right? The code here is the one that causes the problem, doesn't it? Okay, let's do this. Now we should be prepared for the code crash. So if I split the anchor now, I think this is gonna break because we've undid all the code. See that? So before we undid the code, there seemed to be, sorry, before we split the anchor and before the thing crashed, I think there was an error that appeared, right? And we've got to catch what the error is. You know, if we didn't have this error, we might have been done with getting the mobile version to work already. So that's a little frustrating in that sense. Okay, let's look at the console. Pull this here, pull this here. One of the size value of one or more of the joystick elements is not 0. So let's look at this issue over here. Boundaries. Size value is not 0. So if I were to increase the width and the height, let's stop the error. You know, probably I'm gonna disable some of these features at the moment so that we don't have these issues. Size, what is this error trying to say? 124 line 124. Size value for one or more of these. So this finds the greatest common denominator of all the numbers. Is this error the one that's causing the crash? Yeah, it's because of this error. We have an infinite loop somewhere in our code. I just crashed Unity, by the way. I forgot to change my screen. So I'm pretty sure the error is right here, because this creates an infinite loop. And I think it's very convenient for us to just go to ChatGPT for help right here. Let's see, this function is causing an, how would you fix this? So help me implement what would you recommend in this crisis? Oh, the GCD function is recursive. I think it was, right? Let's see. Oh yeah, it's recursive. you can simplify this a bit. So one thing good about ChatGPT is if you have math intensive code, you can now go to ChatGPT for it, so you don't have to deal with the math yourself, which is great and very different from the past, where if I were to figure this out myself, it would probably take me an hour or so, and now it just takes me like 5 minutes. So ChatGPT is it's a real awesome invention. So let's go back to our code, which is right here, and then we're going to replace the function with the one that Unity recommends. So this is the simplified variant of the function. Let me just make this more compact. If b equals to 0, return a, otherwise we return this. And that's for the find GCD function. So if you remove the infinite loop, I think this should fix the issue with Unity crashing, you know. So the result is 1, return 1. Otherwise, you return 0. You might want to handle this error in an appropriate way, or handle this error appropriate way. So what is the implication of result being 0? Yeah, maybe this works. I didn't try to understand the math. Just getting this error out of the way. Bracket here. Okay, let's try splitting the anchor again. If nothing goes wrong this time, we should be able to split the anchor just fine. Size value of one or more joystick elements is not more than 0. Okay, I don't know what this error is. I will go ahead and find it out sometime else. So if we split the anchor of the joystick, we should be able to get a joystick bearing. It's anchoring itself in the wrong place right here. Maybe I should anchor it at the top. Preserve aspect is important. Okay, so clearly our joystick needs a little bit of work, which is why we haven't released it. Let's try splitting the anchor again. This. So on the simulator, what we should get is, let's try different screen again. So we probably want to split the anchor of the control stick as well. And still preserve aspect. Okay, let's try changing the screen size again. So I think now it looks pretty decent across different devices. We always have a joystick at the bottom. And we can kind of move the joystick around, right? Okay. So next thing I want to do is probably we have to, so we kind of have a workable joystick. I'm gonna have to spend some time to improve upon this, and probably let's fix the other screens first. So let's start with the, I think the inventory slots are fine. There's a level up. The level up bar is right here. The inventory slots, maybe it will be here, and we have the experience bar, we have the screens, level up screen is here. So with the level up screen, let's go back to the editor itself. What we want to do with this screen is probably to, let's look at the, so we have the level up text here, we have the upgrade options here. So instead of having this thing be like that, we maybe want to split the anchor vertically to get the UI elements scaling with the screen size. Let's go back to the game view actually. This is background, right? This is the background, and why is the background separate? Okay. That's because the anchor is split, right? Let's see, what can I do about this? Center it again. 5, 4, 7. I'm just gonna drop this inside upgrade options. Set. This will be center. Oh, I can drop this right here. Okay. Okay, I see why that was put there now. So this goes here. Actually, so I can just move this thing inside here, right? Just copy component, paste it. Oh, there's really an image inside, so I can't add multiple images. Well, I guess we just have to split the anchor for both elements then. Let's put this here, and let's put this guy, sorry, on the anchor. Here. So what this gives us, maybe let me move this a little lower, just a little higher. So this will be 1, 5, this will be 9. Same thing here, this will be 1, 5. And I want the bottom to be 0 and the top to be 0 as well. Same thing here, bottom. Which means, oh man, we have to split the anchor for all of these elements as well. So okay, this is gonna be a little bit complex. I'm not gonna try and fix the UI right here. I'm just gonna fix the, because I don't wanna get into another big thing before we finish up the weapon system, right? So let me just implement the joystick, and then from there for the UI we will come back to this on a later video. So for now, if you're looking to convert your game to mobile, you're just gonna have to deal with the smaller UI right here. Yeah, so we'll just get the joystick working. This is gonna be pretty simple for the joystick because everything is really coded to work for the joystick itself. What do I mean by that? So once you add the joystick into your scene, all you gotta do is just head over to your scripts, and then let's just go to player and then player movement right here. Okay, so we have a question from so Kiet, thanks for the feedback. I didn't know that we had the shortcut to auto format the code. Eldren, for the videos, right, you can just watch the videos on the playlist. So the streams themselves, they are not really meant for you. It's just, you know, like, because it takes a lot of time to code this, and I figured I would just do a stream while coding. It keeps me more disciplined, you know. If there's camera in my face, then, you know, I'm not gonna code for half an hour and then go and play a game of Vampire Survivors for 50 minutes and then like go back coding, right? So when I put a camera in front of my face, I code faster, which is why I'm doing these streams. The plan right now is to assemble all the content from streams. I think stream number 4 all the way to number 9, and then we will be assembling part 15. And then right now this mobile adaptation thing, right, is because a patron asked for it. So there are quite a few elements in our project that isn't mobile compatible, like the UI isn't mobile compatible, for example. So to change that to be mobile compatible is gonna take a while. So what I'm gonna do today in this video, I'm just gonna cover how you convert the joystick, how you add a joystick into the game to make the whole thing playable in mobile. So all the UI interfaces, they will still work, but they won't look very good. So that's the caveat for this stream, because I don't want to get into a whole, because if we want to convert everything into mobile, it's gonna be like a couple of streams worth of work, because there's a lot of stuff in the UI we have to convert over to mobile. So without having released so the next part of the series is gonna be about the weapon system revamp, and I don't want to get into doing into adapting for mobiles like too much, because then I'll have a lot of backlog to cover. So let me just finish up the joystick, just to give you guys a quick glimpse of how you can convert the game into mobile, and then we will get back to this in a later video, or rather in a later stream or whatever. So we probably will have a couple of streams if we want to convert everything to mobile. It's gonna be a little bit of work. So I'm trying to find I'm trying to capture the essence of, or rather I'm just adding the virtual joystick, and then we'll see how everything works from there. So now that if we have the virtual joystick right here, you just gotta go into your player movement script, and then from here we have to just do one simple thing, which is we under start here, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check whether there is a virtual joystick in the scene, and if there is, then we will read the input from the virtual joystick instead. So the virtual joystick is a script, right, that is coded to make it very easy for anyone to just use mobile controls. So all you gotta do is just drop the virtual joystick into your scene, and then after that you can start using the virtual joystick. So perhaps I can, let me see. Okay, all we gotta do is just head over to player movement right here, and then we can do a couple of things. One thing we can do is is there a way for us to check whether the game is on mobile? Not very sure. Let's see. If we do a print application mobile platform. Let me see if this works. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to hide the joystick if we are not on mobile, and then if we are on mobile, the joystick will just appear by itself. I think that would be very helpful. So right here, if you're on mobile platform, you see the joystick shows up. So under player movement here, we can just add this thing here where we say if application is mobile platform, then we will try and find a virtual joystick, and then we will disable it. If we are on our platform for the joystick. So the joystick is under a namespace using Bob, and from there we can use virtual. We just do a get find okay, right, virtual joystick. So we enable the joystick if we are on mobile platform, otherwise we disable it. And we can save a copy of the joystick, right? For mobile game. And from here, let's save joystick. So when the game starts, we will try and find a joystick, and then if there is a joystick on the scene, then we check whether we are on the mobile platform. And if we are if we're on the mobile platform, then what do? We enable the joystick, right? Otherwise, we can disable the joystick. See if a joystick is on. You know, actually, instead of doing this, let me just modify the joystick code to make things easier for us. So then we will just have to make lesser changes in the main code itself. So virtual joystick here. So I'm gonna add a new count function into the joystick, then we can use that to check. So public static this gets us the number of joysticks. So if you want to know how the virtual joystick works, we actually have a page dedicated to this. If I'm not wrong, it's what is the page? The games and then virtual. No. Okay, let me find the page. Give me a moment. Views, pages, virtual joystick pack. There we go. Oh, perhaps I haven't uploaded the. Just give me a moment to upload this, and then you should be able to see this for those of you who. Oh, is it under? Sorry, it's under virtual joystick pack. Alright. There we go. So over here, let me just share the URL in the chat, and then, you know, for those of you who are interested, you can see how this virtual joystick pack works. I will provide a download to this after the stream today, and then you can of course go and check it out. So So the annoying thing about Internet Explorer is that whenever you try and copy and paste URLs, they will give you the title of the page instead. So Adrian, I'm glad that the videos are helping you. I work in programming, yes. I do web development mainly. Why do I do web development? Because it's easier. Games development is hard. I mean, it takes a lot of time because there are a lot of details that you have to pay attention to when it comes to developing games. So I used to do games and I got burnt out, and decided to do websites instead. It's a lot easier. The projects are a lot shorter. The bugs are still annoying. Bugs are always annoying. But you know, you don't have to burn out. You don't have to like work overtime a lot. You won't have to. When you build games, your whole life has to be about games. Just because it takes up so much work. Whether it's modeling or texturing or programming, it's just a lot of testing. It's a lot of just very grindy. You know, when you're working on games. Whereas if you're working on other things, it's a lot less grindy. and you can spend time watching Netflix. You can spend a little bit more time Netflixing or Disney Plusing or whatever streaming service you like. So let's get back to coding here. Let's just go and let's see. Instances. So what we are doing here is we're just checking whether there are any joysticks on the screen. So we go back to our player movement code here. Now we don't have to check for joysticks here, right? Because we are not supposed to have to do all of this stuff right here. So this makes things a lot simpler because now we can just introduce a conditional over here that goes like this. So if virtual joystick out is greater than 0. So we probably have to let's see. Count is probably not the best way to do this. Get us the number of joysticks on the screen. Let's add a new property here as well. Let's call this, so over settings, over here on settings, boolean type. Only on mobile. So I'm just adding a new setting here called only on mobile, and what I'm gonna do here is the start function. I am going to if application with mobile platform only mobile. Sorry, if it's not a mobile platform and only a mobile here, then we're gonna just set Lego equals to game object set active. And we can just put this on update so that it refreshes every screen, refreshes every frame. I mean, do we want to do that? No, actually no. Let's just do it here. Let's put it here. So when the game starts, if we are not on this screen. So how the joystick works then is that, let me show you what I've been doing. So now what I've done is we have this joystick here, and then if we were to change this to game view and we'll play the game, the joystick will get hidden by itself. See that? So then when you play the game, the platform matters. Your game will automatically adapt to the correct platform. So now that we have that done, let's go over here and let's count the, let's just change this function to count active instances. So this will get the number of active joysticks on the screen. And for this, we will just have a count over here at 0 and we do it for each. Let's just count the number of joysticks for each virtual joystick J in instances. If J dot active enable. So what this is a way for us to check if there are joysticks on the screen and how many joysticks are on the screen. So once we have this, we can just head back to our play movement script. Where is it? Our play movement script here, and then count active instances. So if it's greater than 0, then what we'll do is let's just declare float move x, move y. And then if there are joysticks, we will set move x to be equals to virtual joystick get axis raw horizontal. Then move y virtual joystick get axis raw vertical. Otherwise, we will use the usual code over here. So otherwise, we'll use it. So for those of you who are looking to implement mobile controls, this is what you gotta do. So the virtual joystick is provided for you. Later I'll provide a download link to that, and then you can just download that, put it in your project, and then under your play movement script, just change the following, and you should be pretty cautious from here. So if you have a joystick on the screen, the input will be taken from the joystick. So let me just show an example of how this will play out. Sorry, I didn't show the coding screen just now. So what I did was previously this is how the code was. And what I did was, instead of always getting the input from the keyboard, this is just us retrieving the input from the keyboard. I've changed the settings so that we get the input from, if there are joysticks on the screen and they're active, then we get the input from the joystick, otherwise we get the input from keyboard. So what this gives us would be, if we were to go back to Unity itself, and let me just play the game on this mobile device. Alright, I'm just gonna open up the menu screen here, and let me just save the changes to the game screen. So if I were to select the say knife character, you see the character starts moving, but so we have a little bit of a problem here because it looks like the character is stuck moving diagonally. Gotta find out why. Let's go back here. Adrian, yes. So I do make videos about topics I make on stream. So if you look at the channel, some of the recently released videos about particle effects, they were actually done on stream, and then we made a summary video that summarizes. So the entire process of creating the particle effects. If you look at the last 2 or 3 videos they released about particle effects, right? So if we were to do, on the stream I did it, when I did it, it took me about half an hour. But then we summarized the video into like 5 to 7 minutes. So it's more consumable, right? No one wants to watch me ramble on for an hour while I'm doing particle effects. So that's why we summarize the videos. So let me just go back and fix this, and we should have a mobile compatible game screen. Okay, for the UI and everything, I'm gonna leave you guys to work the details out. In a future video, in a future stream, I'll probably spend one stream just fixing the UI itself. It's gonna take quite a while again, which is why I'm not getting into this in this stream today. So where was I? So we have to fix the problem with the character always moving diagonally, right? Here's the problem here. Why is the character moving diagonally? So perhaps there is no date zone. Is that the reason why? Yeah. The date zone is 11. Why is the date zone so big? Date zone value 0.3. Let's see if the date zone fixes the issue. Okay, it seems like it doesn't fix the issue. It's gotta see what the issue is in the code. I'm very glad you get it, Adrian. So when we make these videos, of course, one part of making these videos is I want to make money, right? So the other part of it is it's as a creator, it's always great whenever someone finds use for the content that you create. Like I make websites, right? So when I make websites and there are people who, like my clients, have people who view the websites and use the websites and stuff, it's really satisfying. So it's always a lot more satisfying to build stuff. Like for example, I have a client who has like 500,000 page views every month, and it's so satisfying to build its site because it leaves an impact on people, right? Whereas I have clients who have maybe a lot lesser page views, and then those sites are less satisfying to build for, just because it's not going to leave as much of an impact. So whenever I hear in the comments or in the chat that people enjoy the series and they have found use for it, it always warms my heart. And I mean, we're not profitable now, but while we're on the journey to being profitable, it's seeing the YouTube comments of people saying, hey, I found this useful, or hey, thanks for saving me, because now I have an assignment. So because now I can submit an assignment using I can pass my module, or I can use your project files, can modify them, submit it for an assignment, and all these things. It helps us to keep going. So eventually, I have no doubt that if we keep doing this, this will become profitable. But at the moment, what's keeping us going on is comments from people like you who have found our material useful and who have found it to be something that you can learn from. It brings a smile to me, and it warms my heart. It's a little corny to say, it's very warming, right? Yeah, and I'm not one for corny speech, so I'm just gonna stop there, alright? So let's go back to debugging our code. We have to find out why the value here seems to always be non-zero even when the joystick is centered. So print move x value and the move y value to see what's wrong. So let's go to the console, and then we see that the value is always 1 unless I nudge it somewhere else. So probably something wrong with my code somewhere in the joystick. So get exists raw. Let's try doing this for get axis. We'll see. We will see if find what the issue is. Okay, so it seems like with get axis, everything works fine. So the problem is with get axis raw and my joystick code actually. So let's go right here. Thanks Adrian, thanks for coming in to support with your views and with your comments. Always returns. So mathf sign doesn't actually return. They made a mistake here. Just modify this function, right? So get axis raw here. We'll do a mathf sign. Okay, let's save this. And here. Math approximately equals to 0. Otherwise, we return the sign value. So it's gonna be the same here. Can we simplify this? So this can do something like this. Index is this is approximately 0, and then we will return 0, otherwise sign value. So it's the same thing. It's part, right? And this should fix the issue. So a lot of it is just bug fixing for my own virtual joystick pack, which when you are implementing this for your project, you won't have to deal with because it's already dealt with in my source code. So I'm gonna just do a get exist raw right here as well. So I'm just gonna just change this back to get exist raw for both of them. Should be able to get this to work. So let's go back to the menu screen and let's select a character. And you should be able to get this to work now. So with that, this is mobile compatible. And you can click on the buttons to get like new weapons and stuff. Yeah, it's a little difficult for me to control this on the computer, but you can export this onto Android and it should work. It's a very simple way to do things. You have to modify the menu screen for the level up and for the items as well, because it doesn't really adapt to screens very well. And one thing that you can do is for these mobile controls that we have, right? You can also make your joystick snap. So what I'm gonna do here is you can actually play around the radius. This is how far you can pull the joystick. So if I were to reduce the radius to say about this value over here, and if I do edge snap like that, I'm able to make the control snap to 8 directions. Sorry, so this should be 8 directions, right? So I did an edge snap and I've set the directions to 8. You'll see that now it snaps. And it makes it easier to control. See that? So if I were to do this, I'm going to save. And I will go to main menu, I can. Makes it easier to control with the edge snap. So in a sense, now we have a mobile control, mobile friendly, mobile control, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Again, it's very simple. Okay, so I'm gonna release a short article for this because it's really very simple. All you gotta do is just drop the mobile joystick. Maybe just let me summarize what the changes are, so that I can make a summary video out of this. So let me just reverse the changes. Let me just revert my changes and I'll just do everything all over again. Just give me a moment to commit my bug fixes for the virtual joystick. Let's see. I have a whole bunch of changes over here, but these are all for the virtual joystick, right? Okay, give me a moment. I'll just share my desktop to show you what's going on. I'm gonna revert the changes that I've made and then we'll redo everything all over again so that I can make a clip of this video. Okay, let me just... So the first thing I want to do is for all the bug fixes that I made to the virtual joystick, I want to commit it to the repository that I have. So I'm just going to clone this again. And then I'm just going to copy all my changes over here. All my changes from the project. So the changes are all just in the virtual joystick as well as the virtual joystick editor. So head in here, and scripts, changes. Okay, so now I can fix this raw find GCD. Okay. Okay, let's go back to Vampire Survivors, and I'm gonna undo all the changes that I've made so far, and then we can talk about how the mobile functionality was implemented. So let me just close and reopen the project. It's gonna take a while. Okay, it's taking too long. I'm impatient. So let's just end this task manager. Just cut everything one by one. Just cut everything like this. Okay, so all the changes have been undone. So let me just reopen the project and offer a summary as to what was done. And so the timestamp for this is 1 hour and 44 minutes. It's just my personal note for later when I do editing for this video. So okay, the project is open. So the first thing you want to do is, whenever you want to think about mobile compatibility, there's actually a lot of elements that go into creating a mobile compatible game. So the first thing you'll find is that our project files are actually not mobile compatible. Why do I say that? Because when I change the screen size, you will see that, for example, our menu screen doesn't scale together with the screen size, which is a problem because phones come in different sizes, right? And you can also play them in landscape as well as portrait. So this becomes a problem for us. So what we can do is we are when we are doing the mobile compatibility for our game here, we're not gonna cover the UI portion of it because that's gonna take probably about 1 or 2 streams, just entire stream of like me adjusting the UI, which is not I'm not gonna be able to finish everything today if we were to start working on the UI portion of mobile compatibility. So in the game screen itself as well, you will find that our screen doesn't scale very well to different screen sizes. See that? Okay, so this becomes a problem, which we'll address in a future stream. For now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add a joystick to the bottom of the screen, and then from there we will code our source so that it accounts for the presence of the joystick. So with the joystick present, the player movement will use the joystick to move, and then without the joystick we will use the keyboard to move, of course. Okay, so the first thing you want to do for this is you want to go and make sure that your game screen has a simulator view. Okay, so if you don't have this, what you can do is go to Window, Package Manager, and then from here you can download this package called Device Simulator. Okay, so I'm gonna put an article together. If you're watching the clip, the edited clip of this, you will find the link to the article in the video description below. So once you download this, you should have an option to switch between game and simulator view. Okay, if your Unity version is 2021 and above, you will be able to get this drop down as well. You don't need to download the device simulator package. So with that, you should be able to see how your game looks in different devices. And from here, you will also be able to see the necessity for us to adapt the game to different screen sizes. Okay, you can also see how the game looks like, landscape as well as portrait. So one thing you can do if you want your game to export and to only be playable on landscape, when you export your game, let me just share my entire screen so that you can see the pop-ups over here. So when you build your game, if you want to make your game playable only on landscape, what you can do is when you build the game, right, under Android here, if you go to player settings, right, there is an option for you to go to resolution and presentation, and then from here you can check which directions you want your game to be playable on. So if you don't want your game to be playable on portrait, you only want landscape to be playable, then you can just check landscape left, landscape right. This will probably make your game a little more palatable, if you get what I mean, in the sense that what am I trying to say? It'll because our game was built on landscape, right? So if you were to make your game landscape only, this will make the mobile interface a lot more friendly. So with Vampire Survivors, we only have movement, right? So all we gotta do is we just gotta map the movement onto mobile controls, which is actually very simple. So what I have here, after this stream, I'm gonna package the Virtual Joystick pack that we've been creating for over a year now, but just because of time, I haven't put this into a Unity asset pack. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna import this pack into the project that we have, and then we can just drop a joystick prefab from this pack, and then we will be able to start using this. So let me just go to the assets folder, and then you want to drop this inside here. So with this dropped inside, you can, let's head over back to Unity. Okay, so then we can go back to scene, and then under the canvas of our game screen, right, we just have to add one of the virtual joysticks. Okay, so these are all prefabs, and these are all just joysticks of different designs. Okay, all kinds of joysticks, alright? So I'm just gonna use the default one, and then we will size up the joystick a little bit. But at the same time, we will also decrease the the radius of the joystick. So the radius controls how far you can pull the joystick away from the center, and we don't want it to be pulled too far away from the center. So you just want to lower the radius, and we want to anchor this to the bottom left. So what you want to do is just hold alternate and then click. Right, and because you want to anchor it to the bottom left, just click on the bottom left with the alternate key pressed. So I'm going to increase the size a little bit more. Okay, maybe not so much. This is really big. And then on simulator view, you will see there's this big ass joystick over here. So once you put the joystick on the screen, you should be able to use it, but it won't be bound to your controls. See that? So I'm just gonna move the joystick a little bit off corner so that it becomes a little more user-friendly. It becomes a little bit more accessible. See that? And the other thing I want to do also is, because Vampire Survivors only allows us to move in 8 directions, right? What I can do also is I can do a H snap here, and then I can just set directions here to 8. And this will allow me to do this. So when I move the joystick around, it's just gonna snap. And the other thing you can do as well is you can check snap to touch here. Okay? And what snap to touch allows you to do is when you check snap to touch, wherever you click, the joystick will go. Okay, it's not saving. We need to try that again. It seems like our snap to touch functionality isn't working. Why is that? Okay, there's a little bit of a bug here with the joystick. We have okay, maybe I'll need to go back to the drawing board for this. Snap to touch isn't working. Why is it not working? Snap. Okay, it looks like we haven't coded this yet. So you will just have to ignore the snap to touch options. So if you look at the if you look at certain games, when you click on, say, a part of the screen, the joystick will snap over to the portion of the screen. So we don't have that implemented, I think, which is why we cannot get this thing to work. Oh no, but we have it implemented, right? Why is it not? Why is this not? Bounce. Okay, so maybe this has something to do with the editor over here. The boundaries. So let me just show these, alright. Snaps to touch, boundaries. Then we can Okay, we can just remove the features that we haven't finished working on. Okay, so let's go back to the project. The boundaries thing should be working now. We were coding a new interface for that, but we didn't finish it. So under boundaries here, we have a snap to touch, and then if you increase the width and the height of the boundaries, this shouldn't be a strange. It shouldn't be a line shouldn't run like that. It should run some other way, right? So you'll see that it snaps to wherever you click. So if I were to increase the size of this to say 0.5 and 0.5, what you'll find is that in the entirety, in the bottom left corner of the screen, wherever you tap, the joystick will appear. So you have this option here to play around with. And let me just readjust the settings here a little bit. I will move the guys. Just give me a moment, I'm fixing a couple more bugs with the virtual joystick. This is more the interface part of things as opposed to the functionality part of things. It works. I just want to make the interface a little bit better so that later when I share the download link to you with you guys, you can make use of it more easily. So the boundaries over here are the problem. Find out what it is. Okay, so now my line is appearing properly. Perhaps it was just that there was a typo somewhere on the code, just causing this. Okay, so there we go. So Okay, let me just redo this whole section altogether, right, about the adding of the joystick, since I fixed a couple of bugs with it. So when you download our package, what you will see is you will find a couple of joystick prefabs. What you want to do with your joystick prefab is just pull one joystick that you like onto your canvas, and then once you've done that, you can before you anchor it, you want to increase the size of the joystick. You want to make sure to use the buttons over here instead of using the size over here, because the joystick contains other components inside. So if you were to increase the size of the joystick like this, you're going to increase only the outer component, right? So just click on these buttons. So you design these buttons for you so that you can increase the joystick with very little hassle. So I'm also going to shift the joystick a little off center like this. So 115 and 115. Sorry, off the corner, not off center. And once you have planted the joystick like that, you will find that it starts working. It's a very plug and play joystick. So it starts working very well, but you see that the joystick, you can pull the joystick very far. And then once you pull beyond, sometimes you just lose control of it if you move it too fast, alright? So one thing that we can do with the joystick is a couple of settings you will find over here. Okay, there's typo error over here. Let me just fix the code for that. So let me just re-add the joystick. Okay, so you add the joystick to the canvas, right? And so once you add the joystick, again, use increase size or decrease size to increase or decrease the size of the joystick. And then I'm also going to move the joystick a little off the corner, like this. Once you plug in the joystick, you should be able to use it. And so what you want to do over here is that the joystick itself can be pretty hard to use if it's not configured properly. So like for example over here, it can be hard to hold on to the joystick. If you move too fast, the joystick sometimes will lose control and then it will just snap back. So what you want to do then is a couple of options you have. One option here is called edge snap, and what edge snap does is it allows you to set the directions that you want to snap your joystick to. So if I have edge snap of 8 directions, for example, right, you will find that the joystick snaps to one of the 8 directions over here. Okay, so it's a little wonky right now because the joystick's radius is very large, and I'm gonna reduce the radius of the joystick to be a smaller value like that. Reason for that is because if I do this, then now I will be able to snap the joystick to the edge like that. Yeah, so it makes it easier to control everything right here like that. So with a smaller radius, I will be able to control the joystick better. So the other thing that you want to play around with as well is the snap to touch option over here. So the snap to touch option, you will find that you're able to set a width and a height, and what this does is that this will draw a box like that on your screen. So what is the purpose of this box here? The purpose of this box here is if you have snap to touch enabled, wherever you tap on the screen, the joystick will just jump over. So this can be very useful for you because if you play mobile games, you'll be aware of how the mobile games they have configured the joystick so that, you know, if you just toggle the joystick around, you know, you can. Sorry, if you press any part of the screen, you can move the joystick to the particular place. So this makes it easy to use joystick because the full screen, if it's too small, it can be hard to just put your finger on the joystick itself. So a couple of other settings you can play around with. There is a link that you can refer to. If you look at the chat, you will find there is a link that brings you to a page where we document all the possible properties that you can adjust with the joystick. So once you have the joystick ready, it's very simple to just implement it into your game. All you want to do is just head over to player movement here, and you can just head over to input management, and then what you want to do is change your code as follows: move X, move Y. And then if you have a virtual joystick on the screen, so to use the virtual joystick, you will have to go to using. So we have branded joysticks, you see, which is why you gotta put this. Okay, so then here we just call connective instances. If there is more than one joystick on the screen, our move X is going to be input, get axis, draw. Sorry, it's not input here. So now this will become virtual joystick. This will be horizontal. Then move Y is going to be get axis draw and then vertical. So basically what it says is in our code here is if there are joysticks on the screen, you will move using the joystick. Otherwise you will move using the keyboard. So by implementing this, and if we go back to the game, you will see that now if I move the joystick around, the character starts moving. So let me just start the game properly, and then you should be able to see this. I'm gonna go to scenes, and then let me go to menu and save the game. Yeah, so here we have a mobile version of the game that's working just by adding a joystick and then a couple of changes to our mobile code. It's a little hard to play the game on the desktop simulating a mobile device. Trying my best. It's hard to aim. Having trouble aiming. Yeah, but there you have it. So we will once I finish the weapon system revamp, we will spend some time to polish up the mobile interface as well as the joystick. The joystick is a little bit buggy. It's been created a while ago, but I haven't tested it. So it's not buggy in the sense that it's usable. I shouldn't say it's buggy. So it's usable, but for example, if you would adapt it to mobile controls, it's gonna get a little bit difficult. So what I'm gonna do as well is after the weapon system revamp is done, we will decide what we want to work on next. And if we want to work on mobile adaptation, we can do something about the joystick to make the joystick better. Alright, so that's it for the mobile adaptations. It's pretty simple. I'm gonna put together a quick article to address this. So yeah, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Before I wrap up today's stream, I will make some improvements to the Soul Eater asset as well. Let me just see if there's any other improvements I can make to the joystick at the moment. So for the joystick, Okay, let's move on to the Soul Eater. I'm not gonna make any changes to the joystick group for now. I will just release it as it is, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm gonna wrap up this stream quickly so that I can release a quick article about how to do how to do this mobile adaptation thing that we've worked on for the past 2 hours. And of course, I've also got to wrap up this package, this virtual joystick script, so that I can share it online. So yes, before I wrap this up, right? I noticed that there are some our Soul Eater effect isn't the best, so I'm gonna make some improvements to that. One thing I forgot to mention about the virtual joystick, right, is you gotta check only on mobile. Make sure this is checked so that it's hidden on desktops, alright? So this is very important. Sorry, just one thing I want to do for the joystick is let me set a view here. Great. So this will be okay, you know what, never mind. So are we able to check if something yeah. Okay, that's great. So okay, so where were we? Okay, so before I wrap up today's stream, let's improve the Soul Eater effect a little bit. How do we do that? So the Soul Eater effect in the game is actually a bit better looking than ours, and I can't take that line down. So let's improve that. So this will be under prefabs, weapons, auras. So the Soul Eater effect, let's go into game screen and then we'll look at how. Oh, we're in the game screen already. I bet. Let's go to the player and then let's drop the Soul Eater prefab on the player. So the Soul Eater prefab that we have is just one circle like that, but in game there are actually two circles. There are two effects. So what they have is they have an outer circle and then they have an inner circle that grows in strips. Let me see if I have a video of that to show you. Okay, give me a moment to get the video. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we can recreate the same effect. So here is the Soul Eater. So this is a video that we've been working on, but we haven't gone about releasing it because there are some things I still want to do with it. So the video is quite low quality now. Let's get it So you will see the soul eater has a inner circle, there's outer circle, and then there's an inner circle as well. And the inner circle actually pulses, so we're just gonna create the extra inner circle that pulses. Okay, so let's do that. So now we have we added a little extra effect, right? Like these little bubbles inside to make it look a little more active. We're gonna add one more thing inside, which is, so we have balls of darkness inside. We also want a copy of the Soul Eater aura as well inside here. So this other copy of the Soul Eater aura is gonna be a lot smaller. So there's no collider for it. There's no aura for it as well. So what we want, the smaller, let's call this smaller aura. So this is the same aura, right, that kind of is inside here, but we want to have it to be half the size. Okay, I can't really see where it is. Okay, let's set the position to 0, so it's at the center. So the size, so the smaller circle is right here. And set it to a size of 1. Still pretty small. Scaling mode, hierarchy. Okay, there we go. So for the smaller aura here, first thing I want to do is set everything back to 0, and then set the scaling mode here to hierarchy, and then you can set the start size to be the smaller value, say 0.5, something along those lines. And then what you will have is you have a smaller circle inside the larger circle. So the Soul Eater effect, basically you have the particle just going from larger to smaller and larger to smaller, right? So let's have a look at it again. So we have, you see that there's a larger circle that's constantly shrinking inwards. Okay, let me just show you what I mean. So this thing is actually, we have one particle effect over here that has the size of a lifetime, and basically what it does is that it just, how do I open this up? Can't open this window. Random instance. Okay, I might have to reopen Unity because I can't open this. So I will have to close this, and Unity is so buggy today, right? It keeps having problems. So we have a Soul Eater effect, and now it's growing outwards. And what we wanted to do instead is we wanted to shrink inwards. Hello long. So you want the additional particle to be shrinking inwards instead of growing outwards, right? So right now it's like this. And we want it to be, where is the size of a lifetime effect? It's under the smaller aura here, and we have the size of lifetime. Why can't I open this? Oh, it's right here, sorry. So it's right at the bottom here, and I want it to go from big to small, right? So it's gonna be something like this. And if you look at the actual effect, it's a lot smaller. So how do you make the effect longer? You increase the start lifetime. Yeah, so by increasing the start lifetime, you'll get multiple particles appearing. So if we can go to emission and we can reduce the rate over time like that, then we will get the effect to happen over a longer time. Okay, so this is just a duplicate of the Soul Eater aura, but with size over lifetime activated. And the other thing we want to do also is we want to increase the start lifetime, and then we want to decrease the rate over time, so that anytime there's only going to be one particle on the screen. So if I increase this value, you will see that I'll have more particles. Okay, so it looks more like a bottle now, right? We'll do it like this. Okay, so if I were to go back here, you will see the greater the number of particles, the more layers you will have to our effect. So if you want to have lesser layers, then you will want to, of course, just decrease the rate over time and increase the lifetime. Oh, sorry, this is the wrong particle effect that I'm working with. It should be the smaller aura right here, right? So then start lifetime is 8, emission over here is 0.1. And what we will have is always is only one circle like that, shrinking, and once it's finished shrinking, it's gonna create one more layer like this. Okay, we want to make the transparency a little less so it's not as obvious. And then for the color of lifetime, right, we have to, so basically this effect comes in and goes out as and when. So when it goes out, it actually goes completely out. So what we want to do is just place a couple of checkpoints inside here so that it's 50, right? And then this is 75, and then goes back to 0. So you see it goes away and comes back. Okay, it comes out, it goes away, it comes out again, and it goes away, and it comes out again, and it goes away. Okay. So this is kind of how the Soul Eater effect is in the game. So if you want to be specific about it, you're going to have to tweak the rate over time as well as start lifetime to get a similar effect. So this is just the missing last part of our particle effect. So I'm going to add this to the video, and then I should be able to release it sometime early next week. So I just kept thinking that our Soul Eater effect, there was something off about it, because it feels like there's something missing. And turns out the missing thing is just I missed out a big part of the effect, which is, you know, this shrinking circle over here. So let me know in the comments or chat if I get anything wrong about effects or if I miss one or two details. But this should about wrap it up for the Soul Eater effect. And so I'm gonna end the stream earlier today because I'm gonna put together an article about how to create mobile controls for your game. It's pretty simple, but I spent the first 2 hours or so getting that to work because my joystick wasn't working properly. So thanks for coming in to support. So next week there won't be a stream. So for the next week or two, I'm gonna be spending time compiling all the changes we have made from coding stream 4 all the way to coding stream 9, and then we'll release part 15 of the series. So you don't have to watch all, how many hours the stream is at. We have 6 streams, right? 4 hours per stream, so that's about 24 hours of coding progress. I'm gonna summarize everything into hopefully a video of less than 30 minutes, at most 1 hour, and then we will roll that out as part 15 with an article. And once part 15 is done, then I will continue to do streams because we will start developing other features from there. So I'm gonna knock off early today. So thanks for coming in and filling up the chat and leaving your well wishes and your support and so on, because as always it keeps us continuing to do what we do. So there are people who are working with me, so I have someone editing my videos and stuff, so it's not just me, it's a group of us. So whenever we see positive messages, it's always encouraging for us. So thanks for your support. Watch out for the article that's coming about mobile compatibility, about adapting mobile controls into Vampire Survivor series. We'll share the project files as well on Patreon, so keep your eyes posted for that. So in the next hour, you will see an article about the mobile controls, and then around next week, you will see a video for the Soul Eater put up on YouTube. So okay, I'm gonna stop talking now. See you guys.